You were not forgotten. You were being waited on. But now the delay has become disobedience. Heaven is watching your next move. Choose wisely. Beloved, hear this word not as chance, not as coincidence, but as a divine interruption to the rhythm of your life. This message comes as a piercing light breaking through the clouded sky of delay and confusion. Heaven has not overlooked you. Heaven has not abandoned you. You were not forgotten. You were being waited on. Your path was not ignored. It was being measured. Your silence was not weakness. It was being weighed. And now, in this very hour, the silence of heaven has shifted. Heaven is no longer waiting. Heaven is watching. There was a time when the delay was mercy. There was a time when heaven's patience covered your hesitation. There was a time when the Father said, "Wait," and the waiting was preparation. But the sands of mercy have shifted in the hourglass, and what was once divine patience has now crossed into the line of disobedience. What was once grace is now becoming accountability. The heavens are no longer stretching the season of delay, but marking the moment of decision. This is not a general word. This is not a scattered message. This is not for every ear, but for the ones who feel the burning confirmation in their spirit right now. This is for the one who knows they have been chosen, the one who feels the weight of destiny pressing down, the one who senses that time has run out for hesitation. If this is you, you will not be able to shake this word. It will burn in your thoughts. It will echo in your prayers. It will thunder in your dreams. Heaven has recorded the moments. Heaven has documented the delays. Heaven has marked the hour. And now, what is required of you is not noise, not explanation, not defense. What is required is silence, obedience, and surrender. In these three keys, the door of breakthrough swings open. But in resistance, the door begins to close. This is the critical moment. This is the hour of decision. And the heavens are watching your next move. Choose wisely. Type "I am ready" in the comments if this word pierces your spirit. Blessing code 7777 is now covering you. Hear this now. A trumpet is sounding in the spirit. The atmosphere is heavy because eternity itself leans in to listen. This message is not birthed from human thought, nor from earthly wisdom. It is a whisper that first moved through the courts of heaven before it traveled into your ears. It is an interruption, a divine invasion, a sacred summons. The Spirit of Truth, the commander of heaven's armies, speaks through this moment with authority that cannot be ignored. For what you hear today is not suggestion. It is command. What you feel stirring in your spirit is not coincidence. It is confirmation. Heaven declares, the time of waiting is over. You have been tested, you have been tried, and you have been sifted. You cried in the silence and thought the silence meant you were abandoned. You asked in the night seasons if heaven even remembered your name. You carried the weight of invisibility, the sting of delay, the ache of watching others advance while your steps were restrained. But hear this truth. You were not overlooked. You were observed. You were not forgotten. You were being fashioned. Every tear was recorded. Every prayer was catalogued. Every sigh was carried before the throne. You were not being ignored. You were being inspected. This is why the urgency is so fierce right now. because the heavens are shifting their posture toward you. Before this week ends, the decision you make will carry eternal weight. You stand at a threshold, and the Spirit announces that your next step is not casual. It is prophetic. It is not just about your comfort, your convenience, or even your desire. It is about alignment with heaven's timeline. And heaven has declared, delay has crossed into disobedience. To linger any longer is to forfeit what was promised. To obey now is to unlock what has been sealed. But this message is not for everyone. No, this word will cut deep only for those marked by destiny. If you are merely curious, if you are only passing by, these words will roll off you like water off stone. But if you are called, if you are chosen, then every sentence will burn through your heart like fire. For this is not entertainment. This is not suggestion. This is warning, this is instruction, and this is invitation. Heaven is drawing a line in the sand of time. On one side lies hesitation, disobedience, and regret. On the other side lies breakthrough, obedience, and destiny. Hear me clearly. Heaven's eye is upon you. The hosts of angels are attentive. The Spirit of God is searching for your response. And Archangel Michael, the defender of the faithful, declares that the battle has already been waged on your behalf, but your obedience is the final seal of victory. You have been tested by delay. Now you are being tested by obedience. Heaven waits, not in silence, but in surveillance. The throne watches for your next move. Choose wisely. Type "I obey now" in the comments if this word speaks to your spirit. Blessing code 4444 is being released over your life. You have felt the weight of waiting. The silence of heaven has been heavy on your chest like an unshakable burden. You prayed, but answers did not come. You cried, but the skies stayed closed. You asked for direction, but only shadows surrounded your steps. The waiting was not just long, it was confusing. It made you question your worth, your calling, even your very place in the story God has written for you. You wondered, did I miss it? Did God forget me? Did my obedience go unnoticed? And yet, though your ears could not hear, your spirit still knew. Something deep within you whispered, this silence is not absence. It is mystery. But mysteries unsettle the human heart. Waiting tests patience, but silence tests faith. While you were being refined, while heaven was orchestrating unseen alignments, unseen eyes were also watching. Not everyone around you celebrated your delay with compassion. Some secretly rejoiced in your waiting as if it meant you had failed. Some assumed that silence equaled weakness. Some believed that your pause was proof of your defeat. They clapped in the shadows when your progress seemed to stall. They whispered that you were finished when heaven was only fashioning you. This is why the disruption you feel is not only internal, but external. Heaven allowed the silence to stretch, not only to test you, but to expose them. To reveal hearts, to uncover motives, to show you who was truly for you and who was quietly against you. Delay unmasks loyalty. Silence reveals allegiance. Those who smiled when you spoke but secretly doubted when you paused have been unasked by this season. This is why heaven's silence carried weight. It was both for your preparation and for their revelation. But now hear this. They misjudged you. They thought your silence meant surrender, but heaven calls it strategy. They thought your stillness meant weakness, but heaven calls it wisdom. They thought your delay meant defeat, but heaven declares it destiny. What you carried in silence was heavier than their noise. What you guarded in stillness was more powerful than their accusations. Your waiting was not wasted. It was weaponized. And yet, the disruption remains. You'll look around and wonder, who can I trust? Who stands with me? Who stands against me? The answer is not always visible, for the true conflict is not fought in flesh and blood, but in the unseen realm. The mystery of your weighing was never about abandonment, but alignment. Heaven knows who needs to stand with you, and who must be removed from your circle before the release. This disruption is a cleansing, and though it hurts, it is necessary. Take courage. Your confusion is about to turn into clarity. The delay that felt like punishment was protection. The silence that felt like abandonment was orchestration. And the betrayal that cut so deeply was only revelation. Do not let the disruption consume you. For while they whispered against you, heaven whispered your name in the courts of glory. The same mouths that doubted you will soon witness your emergence. The same eyes that overlooked you will not be able to deny your breakthrough. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if this word resonates with your spirit. Blessing code 1122 is activated over your life. Beloved, if this word has pierced your spirit and confirmed what you already knew deep within, then know this: you are part of a greater mission. Every time you support this ministry, you are not just giving. You are sowing into souls. You are helping light pierce darkness. You are helping the river of God's word flow to the thirsty, and you are helping this fire reach places that your feet may never go. The word declares, "He who waters will himself be watered." As you water others, heaven pours back into you in abundance. I feel led to say, your seed will speak louder than your silence. If you feel stirred to give, you can stand with us through YouTube Super Thanks, channel membership, or directly through the PayPal link in the video description. Every gift is not just support, it is prophecy in action. Release your seed and watch as heaven releases your harvest. Child of destiny, hear the truth clearly. What you have been facing is not simply life being unfair, nor is it just bad timing or unfortunate circumstance. No. What you have been entangled in is a war of realms, a conflict of kingdoms, a collision of light and darkness. The waiting you endured was not empty. The silence you suffered was not meaningless. It was the evidence of battle. For your calling has attracted conflict, and your destiny has drawn warfare. Do not be deceived. The delay you experienced was never denial. Heaven was not ignoring you. God was not blind to your pain. Every cry was heard, every groan was recorded, every tear was bottled. But understand this, when a calling is as weighty as yours, when the assignment upon your life is so deeply tied to the destiny of others, opposition rises not because you are weak, but because you are marked. The enemy does not waste energy fighting those without purpose. The storms that gathered against you were proof of the magnitude of what you carry. The delay was not punishment, it was positioning. The silence was not neglect, it was strategy. But here lies the warning: delay, when stretched too long, can shift into disobedience. Waiting was never meant to become an excuse for immobility. Hesitation was never meant to become rebellion. Heaven's patience gave space for testing, but now heaven demands movement. And your obedience in this moment carries the weight of eternity. Do you not know? Heaven is watching your response more than your struggle. The hosts of angels see the war that surrounds you, but they also wait to see if you will stand, if you will rise, if you will move. The Lord's eyes run to and fro across the earth, seeking the faithful, watching for the obedient. And you, yes, you, are under the gaze of heaven in this very hour. The conflict has not been random. The pressure you feel is not without reason. It is not just opposition, it is surveillance. Heaven has monitored every step, every thought, every hesitation. You are not unseen in your struggle. You are observed in your response. Your warfare is not simply about the enemy attacking. It is about heaven measuring. This is why your prayers felt so heavy. This is why the silence felt so endless. For every moment has been part of a greater testing, not of your comfort, but of your character. And now, hear this warning in fire. If you allow disobedience to root itself in your delay, the warfare will no longer simply be an external conflict. It will become an internal corrosion. The danger is not only what opposes you, but what disobedience will do within you. Heaven has drawn a line. Choose obedience, and the warfare bows. Choose hesitation, and the warfare deepens. The battlefield is not only around you, it is within you. But fear not. The armies of heaven stand ready. The angelic hosts have not abandoned you. They are not here to fight in your place, but to reinforce your obedience. Your yes is their permission to move. Your surrender is their command to act. Your obedience unlocks divine reinforcements that will scatter the opposition and silence the accuser. You are not fighting alone, but heaven waits for your alignment. So stand firm, child of promise. Recognize the battle for what it truly is. This delay has been warfare, but now the test shifts to obedience. Heaven is watching. The Lord is weighing. The angels are waiting. Choose wisely. Type "I will obey" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 1919 is being loosed over your destiny. Hear me with clarity. The heavens have shifted, and the urgency cannot be overstated. The patience of the Lord has been long, but it has not been infinite. There is a threshold, and you are standing upon it. What once was overlooked is now being examined. What once was tolerated is now being tested. This is the moment where your delay is no longer counted as waiting, but as disobedience. And the weight of heaven declares, your next move will determine what doors open and what doors close. The Spirit of the Lord warns, if you remain stagnant, the very opportunities you prayed for will begin to slip from your grasps. The doors that were unlocked for you will begin to shut. The alignments that were divinely orchestrated will begin to pass you by. Heaven is not cruel, but heaven is just. When disobedience lingers, destiny begins to decay. This is why the alarm in your spirit has been ringing louder in these recent days. You cannot ignore it, for it is the trumpet of heaven sounding over your life. Mark this clearly. Within the span of 72 hours, critical decisions will rise before you. These choices will not appear casual, but they will carry eternal weight. The Spirit of God is urging, do not harden your heart. Do not delay your obedience. Do not excuse your hesitation. For the enemy has also moved into position. While heaven watches your response, hell waits for your delay. Every moment of hesitation becomes an opening. Every excuse becomes an invitation. Every postponement becomes permission for darkness to entangle what heaven is trying to release. The pressure you feel right now is not just life happening. It is the tension between two realms colliding over your obedience. The alarms of the Spirit are ringing because time is running short. The weight you feel in your chest, the restlessness in your spirit, the dreams that wake you in the night, these are not accidents. They are signals. They are heaven's urgent warnings wrapped in the language of your soul. You cannot remain neutral any longer. Understand this truth. Obedience is not about convenience. It is about alignment. God is not asking you to move when you are comfortable. He is commanding you to move when it counts. And this is the hour when it counts most. If you obey, the hosts of heaven will move swiftly. The floodgates will open. The strategies of the enemy will collapse. But if you delay, the doors will begin to close, one after another, until the weight of disobedience becomes too heavy to bear. This is why heaven speaks with such fire right now. Because your yes is not just about you. Your obedience is tied to nations, tied to families, tied to souls you may never meet. Every delay ripples beyond your own life, and every act of obedience unleashes blessings beyond your understanding. You are at a crossroads, and heaven is sounding the alarm. Move now, or the window will close. Do not be deceived by comfort. Do not be lulled by complacency. The enemy is banking on your hesitation, but heaven is waiting for your response. The battle is not about whether God has chosen you. He already has. The battle is about whether you will choose Him in this moment. Child of destiny, hear it again. Within 72 hours, your obedience must align with heaven's command. Heaven has spoken, the angels are recording, and eternity is watching. Choose wisely, for what you do next will mark the course of your destiny. Type "I will move now" in the comments if this message is for you. Blessing Code 2020 is surrounding you with divine urgency and protection. Beloved, though the warning is fierce, understand this. Heaven's instruction is never to terrify but to protect. The Father does not expose you to urgency without also covering you with strategy. The Spirit is not here to condemn you, but to guide you. And in this hour of pressing choices, heaven provides a shield, a lamp, and a map. For your steps are not to be taken blindly. Your obedience is not to be executed in fear. You are not moving alone. You are moving under divine covering. The first instruction is this: be still in your emotions, but move in your obedience. Do not let panic dictate your next steps, and do not allow fear to blur the vision heaven has given you. Stillness in your heart does not mean stillness in your action. Heaven calls you to move with calm precision, to obey without explaining, to advance without broadcasting. Every word you speak in this moment, every gesture you make, every action you take is being weighed in the courts of heaven. This is not the hour for careless words or reckless decisions. Silence is your shield, and obedience is your weapon. You may not understand the full picture right now, and that is by design. The Lord has hidden certain details from your sight not because He wishes to confuse you, but because He wishes to protect you. If you saw everything, you might try to control it. If you knew all at once, you might mishandle it. This is why heaven whispers instructions step by step, command by command, revelation by revelation. What is required of you is not explanation, but trust. Not reasoning, but surrender. Not noise, but listening. Heaven declares, "Do not rush to justify yourself to men, for I have already justified you before my throne. Do not seek to be understood, for I have already established your steps. Your safety lies not in convincing others, but in obeying me." The protection you need in this hour does not come from the applause of people, but from the covering of heaven. As long as you walk in obedience, the armies of the Lord surround you like fire. Child of God, prayer is your fortress. When confusion rises, retreat into prayer. When accusations rise, retreat into silence. When pressure builds, retreat into His presence. For it is in the stillness that the next instruction is release. Heaven has strategies that will not make sense to the carnal mind, but they are designed to confound the enemy. Your role is not to explain the strategy, but to execute it. The obedience you release today will activate angelic assignments on your behalf. The moment you yield, protection multiplies. And hear this promise: no weapon formed against you shall prosper. The covering of the Lord is not partial, it is complete. The same God who led Israel by fire at night and cloud by day now surrounds you with divine presence. You may feel vulnerable, but you are not exposed. You may feel pressured, but you are not abandoned. Heaven has hidden you under the shadow of the Almighty, and your obedience is the key that keeps you there. So, steady your heart, silence your emotions, sharpen your obedience. For while the world watches your silence with suspicion, heaven interprets it as strength. While the enemy sees your restraint as weakness, God calls it wisdom. Your obedience is your shield, your surrender is your covering, and your silence is your fortress. Stay aligned, stay hidden, stay protected, and you will see the deliverance of the Lord. Type "I am covered" in the comments if you believe this word is for you. Blessing code 3131 is surrounding your life with divine safety. Child of promise, lift your head, for the season of crushing has not been wasted. The silence you endured was not punishment, it was preparation. The delay you survived was not rejection, it was refinement. The fire you walked through was not destruction, it was purification. What the enemy tried to use as a weapon of despair, heaven has transformed into a testimony of strength. You must understand this clearly. You are not overlooked, you are chosen. You are not forsaken, you are appointed. You are not forgotten, you are rising. The time has come to break free from the chains of a victim mindset. No longer shall you see yourself as one who has been cast aside, as one overlooked by heaven. No. Heaven has been watching, weighing, and preparing you for this very hour. Every hidden moment, every tear-stained night, every silent prayer in the shadows has been counted. While you thought no one saw you, the courts of heaven were recording your endurance. While men dismissed you, God was anointing you. While others overlooked you, heaven was preserving you. They underestimated you because they misread your season. They thought your silence meant insignificance. They thought your waiting meant weakness. They thought your obscurity meant irrelevance. But the Spirit of the Lord declares, your silence was a weapon, and your endurance a testimony. Like a seed buried in the dark soil, unseen and underestimated, you were breaking beneath the surface, growing roots, stretching in strength. And now, the time of emergence is here. The shell that confined you has cracked. The soil that buried you can no longer hold you. You are pushing upward, breaking through, rising into visibility. Do not despise the season you came from, for it was the womb of your empowerment. Had you not been hidden, you would not have been strong. Had you not been delayed, you would not have been ready. The fire refined you. The silence trained you. The waiting fortified you. What once looked like weakness is now revealed as wisdom. What once felt like failure is now revealed as formation. You are not who you were when the delay began. You are stronger, wiser, deeper, sharper. The power of endurance has transformed into the authority of empowerment. And now, heaven announces, it is your time to emerge. You are not to rise timidly, but boldly. You are not to step forward in fear, but in authority. The very things they used to count you out are the very marks that qualify you. Your scars are evidence of survival. Your silence is evidence of wisdom. Your endurance is evidence of faith. You are the living testimony that delay did not destroy, that silence did not silence, that betrayal did not bury. Child of destiny, hear this. You were chosen before the foundations of the earth, and no season of waiting has disqualified you. In fact, it has only amplified the oil upon your life. The empowerment you carry now is not the shallow strength of human effort, but the deep strength of divine endurance. You are not stepping forward empty. You are stepping forward anointed. Rise now, not as one overlooked, but as one ordained. Move now, not as one silenced, but as one sent. Declare now, not as one delayed, but as one destined. Your empowerment has been forged in the fires of waiting, and your emergence will silence every doubt. Type I am empowered in the comments if this word is for you. Blessing code 4545 has been activated over your life. The mystery of your delay is being unveiled, and heaven commands that you listen closely, for this revelation carries weight. The Spirit of God declares, the delay was never meant to break you, it was meant to align you. While you wept, heaven was working. While you waited, angels were arranging. While you thought nothing was moving, everything was shifting in the unseen realm. The silence was not abandonment, it was alignment. You thought the door was closed because of failure, but the door was locked because the timing was not yet secure. You thought heaven was punishing you, but heaven was protecting you. You were hidden not because you were forgotten, but because your unveiling required the perfect moment, the precise alignment, the exact season. Heaven was not delaying to wound you. Heaven was delaying to position you. Every moment you waited was a moment God was aligning unseen doors, unseen hands, unseen opportunities that you could not see from where you stood. And now the Spirit declares, the delay was a test. Heaven was watching if you would remain faithful when unseen, if you would remain steadfast when uncelebrated, if you would remain obedient when unrecognized. You were weighed not in your moments of breakthrough, but in your moments of silence. The heavens recorded how you endured, how you prayed when answers did not come, how you stood when applause faded. And because you endured, the test is complete. The next move is the release. This is why you feel the urgency in your spirit right now, because the chambers of heaven are opening. Doors that were locked are swinging wide. Favor that was restrained is being loose. Blessings that were stored up are being poured out. Your name, once whispered in the shadows, has been spoken in the courts of heaven. Heaven has decreed your advancement, and no force of darkness can reverse it. But hear this clearly, your obedience is the trigger. The release is prepared, the promotion is ordained, the breakthrough is already sealed, but it requires your yes. Heaven cannot bless disobedience. Heaven cannot multiply rebellion. Heaven will not anoint hesitation. The release is tied to your surrender, the breakthrough tied to your obedience, the promotion tied to your alignment. Your yes is the final key that unlocks the vault of what has been promised. And this is the prophetic revelation of the hour. Your delay was not wasted. It was divine. Your waiting was not punishment. It was preservation. And now the Lord declares, the next move you make in obedience will be the move that releases everything that has been held back. Child of God, rejoice, for you are stepping into a season where hidden doors will open, where unseen strategies will be revealed, where long-awaited promises will manifest. Heaven has not forgotten you. Heaven was preparing you. And now, heaven is releasing you. Type "I receive my release" in the comments if this word is for you. Blessing code 8181 is flowing into your life. Beloved, if this prophetic revelation has stirred your spirit, know that you are part of something greater than yourself. When you sow into this ministry, you are not just supporting words on a screen. You are releasing rivers of living water into dry places. Each seed becomes a spark, each gift a torch, each act of giving a prophetic declaration that light must scatter darkness. The word says, "Give, and it shall be given unto you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." I declare this promise is alive for you now. I feel the Spirit saying, your obedience to give will align with your release to receive. If you feel led, you can partner with us through YouTube Super Thanks by becoming a channel member or through the PayPal link in the description. As you sow, may heaven open its storehouses over your life and return to you multiplied. Beloved, you have reached the moment where destiny itself waits on your response. This is not merely another crossroad in life. This is the activation point, the ignition of what heaven has written over you since before the foundations of the earth. Heaven is not silent anymore. The silence that once stretched into mystery has now become a command, and the command is clear. Heaven waits for your yes. You must understand that destiny does not move by accident. It moves by obedience. The promises over your life are not suggestions. They are assignments. They are not optional blessings. They are divine decrees. But every decree requires a response, and every promise requires agreement. This is why you feel the pressure in your spirit, the urgency in your bones, the holy fire that will not let you rest. Because heaven has already signed the scroll, but your obedience is the seal that activates it. Do not underestimate this moment. Every delay has been leading you here. Every tear has watered this moment. Every trial has shaped you for this exact hour. Your next step is not casual. It is cosmic. The decision you make now will ripple through eternity, not only for you, but for those tied to your obedience. For your destiny is not isolated. It is intertwined. Your yes will unlock freedom for others. Your surrender will release blessings to those connected to your name. You are not walking for yourself alone. You are carrying nations in your obedience. The Spirit of the Lord declares, your obedience will unlock the sealed promise. The vault of heaven stands ready, but it requires your voice. Speak the yes that breaks the chains. Declare the obedience that scatters the resistance. Release the surrender that aligns the angels. Heaven has written, but you must agree. The Father has decreed, but you must respond. The Spirit has stirred, but you must move. This is the activation of destiny, the fusion of heaven's command and your obedience. Do not retreat now. You are on the edge of release. The enemy is fighting so fiercely not because you are weak, but because you are near. Every distraction, every delay, every battle you faced recently was designed to pull you back at the very moment of release. But the Spirit says, press forward. Push past hesitation. Break through fear. Declare your yes loudly and walk boldly into the inheritance waiting for you. Destiny is not waiting for tomorrow. Destiny is not waiting for next year. Destiny is waiting for your yes now. This is the activation moment. Do not look at the size of the opposition. Look at the size of the promise. Do not focus on the weight of the burden. Focus on the glory of the breakthrough. Do not measure yourself against the enemy. Measure yourself against the God who called you. For if heaven decreed it, nothing can deny it. Child of God, your yes is the victory sound that heaven longs to hear. Lift your voice, lift your heart, lift your obedience. Say yes and watch the mountains move. Say yes and watch the chains shatter. Say yes and watch the heavens open. Your destiny has been waiting, but now it is being activated. Type "My destiny is activated" in the comments if this word is yours. Blessing code 5252 is being released over your path. Beloved, lean in closely now, for there are transactions happening in the unseen that your natural eyes cannot behold. While you have wrestled in silence, while you have carried unanswered prayers, while you have endured the long nights of waiting, something sacred has been unfolding in the invisible realm. The courts of heaven have not been idle. The angels have not been still. The Spirit of the Lord has been moving, shifting, negotiating, and aligning on your behalf. There has been a silent exchange in the spirit realm, and though your lips could not speak it, your tears, your endurance, and your faith have spoken louder than words ever could. Understand this. Not one tear has been wasted. Not one groan has been ignored. Not one moment of silence has gone unnoticed. The very moments you thought heaven was still, heaven was moving behind the veil. Your prayers were not bouncing back empty. They were building weight in the spirit. Every whispered cry, every surrendered sigh was being deposited in the treasury of heaven. And now, the treasury is being opened. What you thought was lost is being returned. What you thought was delayed is being accelerated. What you thought was forgotten is being remembered. The silent exchange has turned your mourning into intercession, your waiting into testimony, your tears into currency. Yes, your tears have been counted as currency in the Spirit, purchasing victories you cannot yet see, unlocking blessings that are now rushing toward you. The Spirit of truth declares, what was delayed is now being released. The scale has tipped, the books are balanced, and the time of manifestation is here. You felt it in your spirit before you understood it in your mind. The shift came quietly, like a sudden wind brushing against your soul, and you knew something had changed. That was not imagination. It was revelation. Your spirit discerned the exchange long before your eyes could see it. Angels have carried your petitions. Heaven has signed the decrees, and now the blessings are descending. The release is closer than you think, and the weight of the blessing will reveal why the waiting was so heavy. Child of God, know this, nothing has been wasted. Every battle you endured has been written into your testimony. Every delay has been converted into acceleration. Every closed door has made way for a greater opening. The silent exchange has ensured that nothing you lost will remain lost, but that everything will return multiplied. Heaven does not return empty. Heaven returns pressed down, shaken together, and running over. The exchange has happened, and the results are irreversible. The enemy cannot intercept it. The accuser cannot deny it. The doubters cannot block it. Heaven has decreed, and so it shall be. The blessing that is coming is not just compensation. It is multiplication. The promise that is unfolding is not just restoration. It is elevation. What you carry now will be greater than what you lost, for the silent exchange has turned delay into destiny. Lift your spirit, for you stand in the afterglow of a divine transaction. Heaven has traded your ashes for beauty, your weeping for joy, your delay for acceleration. And soon, what you felt in your spirit will manifest in your life. You will see with your eyes what your heart has long believed. Type the exchange is mine in the comments if this word is yours. Blessing code 6060 has been released over your life. Child of God, hear this declaration from the throne of heaven. The scales of justice are shifting. What was once unbalanced is now being corrected. What was stolen is being returned. What was mocked is being vindicated. For the Spirit of the Lord has decreed divine reversal, and the justice of heaven will not be delayed. You endured the silence. You carried the weight of betrayal. You walked through the valley of delay, and now the gavel of the Lord has struck in your favor. There were those who mocked your waiting. They whispered that your silence was weakness, that your delay was defeat, that your prayers were in vain. They watched and laughed, thinking your fall was certain. But the Lord declares they will see with their own eyes the glory I am placing upon you. Those who mocked will witness your rise. Those who doubted will have no choice but to acknowledge the hand of God upon your life. For what they thought would bury you has become the very soil of your breakthrough. The word of the Lord says, "Vengeance is mine, I will repay." And now repayment is unfolding. What the enemy tried to block is returning sevenfold. What was withheld is being multiplied. The years the locusts devoured are being restored with abundance. The shame that tried to cling to you is being stripped away and replaced with honor. Where you once stood in silence, you will now stand in victory. Where you once wept in the shadows, you will now rejoice in the light. This is not revenge. This is divine justice. For justice in the kingdom is not petty, it is holy. The Lord does not repay with equal measure, he repays with overflow. When Joseph was thrown into the pit, they thought it was his end, but heaven turned it into a throne. When Daniel was cast into the den, they thought it was his destruction, but heaven turned it into a promotion. And now, the Lord is writing the same reversal over your life. The very weapon they formed against you will become the evidence of your deliverance. The very accusation they hurled at you will become the testimony of your vindication. Child of destiny, do not fix your eyes on the ones who mocked you, for they were never the true enemy. Flesh and blood were only vassals. The real opposition came from the unseen. And yet the Lord of hosts has silenced the accuser, overturned the verdict, and declared you free. Heaven has already decreed your reversal, and no power in earth or hell can stop it. Take courage, for justice is not coming. Justice is already unfolding. Even now, doors are opening, tables are turning, and alignments are shifting in your favor. The same mouths that spoke against you will have to testify of your blessing. The same eyes that watched for your fall will witness your elevation. And the same hands that tried to push you down will see you lifted by the hand of God. Reversal is your portion. Justice is your inheritance. Vindication is your seal. You are not forgotten. You are being prepared for this very moment. And now heaven decrees, rise, for your reversal has arrived. Type "My justice is here" in the comments if this word is yours. Blessing code 7171 is being released into your life right now. Beloved, the message has been declared. The warning has been sounded, and the truth has been revealed. You are not forgotten. You were being waited on. The delay was not abandonment, it was alignment. But now the line has been drawn. Delay has turned into disobedience, and heaven is no longer waiting. Heaven is watching. Every choice, every step, every yes or no you release in the season carries eternal weight. This is the hour where obedience is not optional, it is essential. Hear the voice of the Lord. My child, you are seen, you are chosen, you are sent. Though the silence seemed unbearable, heaven was not absent. Though the waiting felt endless, heaven was not idle. And now, the fullness of time has arrived. What once seemed shut will swing wide, what once seemed withheld will be poured out, and what once seemed forgotten will rise again. The promises are still alive, their release depends on your obedience. This is not a season for hesitation. This is not a moment for fear. This is not a time for shrinking back. Heaven commands, move forward, surrender fully, obey without excuse. For your obedience is heaven's victory. Your yes is the trumpet that summons the angels, and your surrender is the key that unlocks what has been sealed. You are not walking into defeat. You are walking into destiny. You are not stepping into uncertainty. You are stepping into fulfillment. The eyes of the Lord are upon you, and the armies of heaven surround you. So I declare over you now, clarity in your mind, courage in your heart, fire in your spirit, and favor over your path. You are covered in protection, saturated in grace, and overshadowed by divine strength. No weapon formed against you will prosper. No delay will steal your promise, No force of darkness will stop your advancement. Heaven fights for you, even as heaven watches you. Choose wisely, for your obedience in this moment will echo for generations to come. Rise, child of destiny. This is your moment. Say yes, and walk boldly into the future heaven has prepared for you. Type "I choose obedience" in the comments if this word seals your spirit. Blessing code 8888 is covering you now. Beloved, before we close, I must remind you, this mission is not about one voice, but about the Word of God reaching countless souls across the earth. When you give, you are not just helping us, you are helping heaven invade hearts. Your support becomes the oil that keeps the fire burning. The scripture says, "Those who sow in tears will reap with shouts of joy." As you sow, you are joining in the harvest of souls. Your act of giving is not a donation. It is a prophetic act, a declaration that you are part of this movement of light. I invite you, if this word has ministered to your spirit, to stand with us through YouTube's Super Thanks by becoming a member, or through the PayPal link in the description. Release your seed in faith and watch as God multiplies it back into your life in unexpected ways.